Hi, I'm Crystal. Today we're going to take a couple of empty tissue boxes and a little bit of decorating material and turn them into a fun flip-flap book. So there's some commercial examples of this if you want to see what they're supposed to look like. I'll link those in the description. And there's another YouTube channel that I really recommend that does a lot of these folios. That's May Made It. But my two tissue boxes turned into this fun little folio. It opens up, and then I've got this fun Z fold in the middle, making use of that center opening in the top of the tissue box. And then we've got a waterfall in the center. So this was a really quick, easy project. There's no complicated measuring or cutting. There's one spot where I do think you need to measure for the hinges, but otherwise we're just going to use the architecture of the tissue box itself to shape this fun booklet. So I turned mine into a really oversized birthday card, but you could use it for anything. The only thing I will call out is that because it's a Kleenex box base, it does not fold completely flat. You do need some type of closure to get it to close all the way. But gosh, this was a quick, easy project, and it cost basically nothing. So I think it was a lot of fun, and if you want to give it a try, I'd love to see your results. But let's take a look at the architecture of this with an undecorated set of tissue boxes. So you can see that I've got one tissue box as the outside, and then here's the second box that I brought in to extend the flaps. There's the top of the second box, there's the bottom of the second box, and then the flaps off of the end of both boxes are what make that waterfall in the middle. And so I just think it's a good use of something that would otherwise go into the recycle bin or the landfill. And the only spot that I recommend measuring is for the hinges on these waterfall flaps so that it's easy to get the spacing right. So let's take a look at the steps to build this. They're very easy. I've got them written out in the description box. I also have them posted on my blog, which is at papercraftcrystal.com. So we're going to open both tissue boxes at the short end, right, so that we can see the flaps on the end of the box. Then we're going to remove all the flaps on every end of both boxes. You can discard the smaller flaps, but we're going to keep the larger ones. On one box, we're going to cut the top so that the box opens completely flat. So on the second box, we're going to cut at each fold line, and you're going to end up with 4 pieces of box. And since that nestles inside, we're going to make each of those pieces narrower on the long edge by about 1/4 of an inch. I mean, the exact measurement is not important. Then we're going to attach the sides of our blue box to the lemon box. You can see that in the photo to extend the flap. And now it's time to decorate. So however you want. And then we're going to go on to attach the center section. So here I've got my sides extended. You can see where I'm getting that fold up flap. And now that everything's decorated, I'm going to attach the center section. So the center piece is made from the top of the second box with a paper hinge attached to the bottom of the second box, and then at the back of that I have another paper hinge. So it's just a Z fold. There's my hinge on the back, there's my top, and I'll show you from the top so you can see the shape of this. But it's the top with a hinge to the bottom with a hinge that I'm going to attach to the base. So that's really all there is to it. And that's going to fit nicely inside since we shaved down the width just a little bit. And we're just going to attach that paper hinge with some glue. So I think that a Kleenex brand box or similar style is going to work best here because of the way that opening is on the top of the box. If you're trying another brand, I don't know, try it. I don't know how that opening would look if you had a side opening box. Once we've got the center attached, it's time to put these flaps in. Now this is the only spot I would recommend some measuring, and that is to make those hinges 1.5 inches wide and then fold them in half. And the reason why I suggest measuring is because it makes the spacing so easy on this waterfall. So if you do that, you can line up the bottom of the hinge with the top of the flap underneath, and then you don't have to measure as you attach the waterfall to the page. So as long as you line up the bottom of that hinge, the folded piece will be 3/4 of an inch tall, then you'll have plenty of room to line up all 8 of the flaps right down the center of our folio without having to measure as you attach the waterfall pieces. So I don't like to measure. Easier for me to measure the hinge than to measure as I attach them to the page. If your preference is otherwise, then do whatever's easiest for you. But you can see that those fit nicely. They tuck under that Z fold that we put in place, and then our folio is almost done. So I'm going to go ahead and attach those flaps, and then we will have our waterfall in place. Now in my finished birthday card, I used my little waterfall pieces to spell out the lyrics of our family birthday song, which is a song from Big John and Sparky. It does not have the traditional happy birthday lyrics. It's just a fun family tradition from my mother's childhood that we've carried on all these years. So I'm getting all my little flaps in place, and you can see that that spacing is super easy. I'm just checking to make sure that I'm not impinging on the fold as I glue them in. And there we go. There's our waterfall. Super, super easy because I measured the hinges. And that is really all there is to this project. I had a lot of fun doing it. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I thank you for joining me today.